couple weeks ago, I summarized the Honda Shadow. Now it is the SV's turn. First things first, we're going to confirm the type of oil the SV needs, as well as how much. So here's the type right here, 10W40, and here's how much we need engine oil with filter change, 2.9 US quarts. The last thing we need is an oil filter, and this is the box from last year, and just like with the Shadow, I've marked it SV so that I don't get it confused with all the other oil filters I have hanging around. And this is a Wix 51359. My supply run, I've got my oil, I've got my oil filter, so we are ready to get started. First step is getting the SV into position. Next step is getting the battery installed. To do that on the SV, you gotta take off these side panels, followed by the seat itself. So these are just Allen wrench bolts that come out. So that comes out, and then you pull this guy out gently. So that guy's out. Now you got another bolt, and this is a 10 millimeter. You unscrew that. Pull it out, and then you repeat the process on the other side. Once you've taken the side panels off of both sides and taken the seat bolts out of both sides, then you can just take the seat right off. And here's the SV battery, all trickle charged and ready to go. I do mark my batteries when they were installed so that I roughly know how much time I have left in their lifespan. One of the many reasons the SV is such a great bike: easy battery install. Okay, with the battery in place, we are almost ready to do a test start. Before we do that, we have to take off the exhaust cover and check the airbox. To check the airbox, we have to loosen these two Allen head bolts up right here. Tight quarters in here, but there's one. And now for the other. Alright, finally, there we go. Now we've got to prop the tank up, and to do that, we go into the back compartment of the SV and take this guy out. And this guy is a tank prop. So to prop the tank up, you come in like this, lift it up. If it's a full tank of gas, which this is, it's a tad heavy. But then you take the straight end and you put it into the bolt hole at the front of the tank, and then you put the circle thing on that guy right there, and it props the tank up. Now with the tank propped up, we take the airbox cover off, and you just need a screwdriver to do that, and unscrew the screws around the edge. Alright, all the screws are loose. Now we take the top right off, and we see a nice clean air filter with no nests on it. Next thing to do is look underneath, and there are no nests inside. So airbox is all set. Reverse the process to put everything back together. The final step before test start is taking the cover off of the muffler, and we cover the muffler so that nothing crawls up inside during winter storage and makes a nest inside your exhaust, your muffler, or your engine itself. So the battery is in, the airbox has been checked, and the muffler has been uncovered. So, we are ready for a test start. Make maintaining a bike way easier when you can stand it up straight. So I'm going to use this thing to help me with the oil change here. There we go. A little freaky doing it with one person, but not impossible. We are finally ready to get the oil change underway. This right here is the drain plug. And it is a 14 millimeter. Another reason the SV is such a great bike, super easy drain plug to access and remove. And this time, no oil spill. That thin line of somewhat transparent brownness is the oil draining out. The majority of oil has finished draining, so I'm gonna put the drain plug back in and then get ready to remove and replace the oil filter. So there's the oil drain plug right in the center of the shot, and to the left is the very easily accessible oil filter. Get your oil bin positioned accordingly and start untwisting the oil filter. And then just let it drain. Make sure your old gasket from your old oil filter is not hanging out behind on this thing. It's happened to me on the SV and the Shadow before. It didn't happen to me this time, but if the gasket from the old filter gets sucked off and stays here as you put the new oil filter on, you will double seal the oil filter and your oil will explode out everywhere and your bike will be out of commission. While the rest of the old oil drains out from the filter, I'm gonna get the new filter ready. A good pro tip is to use some oil to get the new gasket kind of prepared, and this will help it seat and seal better. Alright, good to go. We are ready to go with the new oil filter, so make sure you get a nice clean connection. Make sure it's not double threaded, and once you feel like you're on there nice and good, then start twisting it all the way down. Alright, feels good. With the new oil filter in place, we are going to take out the drain plug again and flush any remaining oil out with some new oil. Unlike older bikes, we have an actual oil fill window here. So we no longer have a dipstick that we got to worry about on this bike. So I'm going to take the oil cap off, oil spout in, and pour through a little new oil to flush out the old oil from last year. It's hard to see, but there's a spider web thin line of clean oil coming out of the drain hole here. Put the oil drain plug back in, give it a good snug, and there we go, we're ready to keep pouring oil. Like I said about the SV, we've got an oil window down here, so it's much easier to tell when it's at its proper oil level. Plus, with the wheel stand here, the bike is already up straight, so it's going to give us a very accurate reading. And now, thanks to this really handy oil window here, might be hard to see in the shot, but the oil is almost exactly at the fill line. So put back your oil cap, put your seat back on, bolt it back into place, both sides, side panels, rear seat cover, and just like that, the bike is back together. Last step, put the side kickstand down, and slowly and very carefully put it down. Make sure to check the tire pressure of your front tire as well as your rear tire. Here are the SV's PSI requirements. 33 PSI in the front, 36 in the back. And the rear is good. Test ride success.